So some of you are, been wondering, what's this ethanol? So some of you are, been wondering, what's this ethanol E20? Yes, it is going to harm your engine, especially the bikes before 2023 April. That's what I'm, getting the facts from. Because any vehicle before that, especially the ones, before the BS6, they were not ethanol compliant. When I say ethanol compliant, that means like the hose, the gaskets, and the fuel pipeline, the plastics, all of these are not ethanol resistant. So, and some of them may even be prone to corrosion. So this is why you're going to run into a lot of issues with the older model vehicles, especially bikes and cars. So the only way to keep your vehicle running is to make sure that the fuel tank is not it's properly sealed, it's airtight, so the air does not enter the fuel tank and then create moisture that goes and get mixed with the petrol, causes the separation of the ethanol, and finally it'll go down to where the combustion happens, and that's where you're going to have issues like knocking and all of that. And the other thing, if your vehicle is already pretty old, like maybe I don't know, maybe like more than 5-6 years old, and maybe even older, just get all the hoses, the fuel line, and probably when the fuel pump, all of these changed. And if you don't have time, if you don't have time for that, just get the fuel additive, like a liquid moly system cleaner, which goes and removes a lot of these deposits and everything, and relieves your bike of certain stress and letharginess, and you start to notice your bike is running faster, your car is running faster. You're gonna get more fuel efficient. Now, when I talk about fuel, a lot of people are saying my fuel efficiency has dropped. Well, that's because there is something called as closed loop and open loop. And when I say closed loop, that is like the throttle response, from 1 to 36% is where the lambda sensor, the auto sensor, which is bolted to the exhaust, that reads the combustion, the carbon that's coming out of the exhaust header from the engine, whether it is lean or is it rich. Because ethanol contains, it's going to burn, it contains more oxygen, it's going to burn cleaner. When I say cleaner, as in, because it's gonna burn quicker, you need more fuel for a full clean combustion. So that's why the auto sensor tells the ECU, well, tell the injector to put more fuel to have it proper. The flame should always be blue, it should be burning perfectly. So because of the traffic and everything, most of the people will be riding within 40 kilometers in the speedometer. So that constantly the ECU tells, put the fuel more, put the fuel more, put the fuel more, which is good because you're having a cleaner combustion. But as you move to the open loop, when I say open loop, like after 36% throttle response, the auto sensor is obsolete. It all depends on what the factory is, the tuning is set up, the mapping, the air fuel mixture. That is where the tuning comes in, where we permanently say, well, no matter what open throttle it is, just keep the fuel at the peak. And considering that whatever you're going to be putting petrol, it's going to be at least ethanol 15. And if you don't need ethanol at all and you don't want to do any tuning, you want to keep your engine healthy, you want to older vehicles, and just go to XP100 or Power 99. It's going to be probably no ethanol, it's going to be pure petrol, but it's going to burn your pocket.